Wednesday morning, North Texas. Thanks for waking up with us here on Daybreak. I'm Dia Wall.
And I'm Matt Howard. And we start with breaking news. Several people shot in Dallas overnight.
Police were called out in separate incidents just blocks away. On Elm Street, a security guard shot and killed. And on Commerce, 5 people hit with gunfire. Janelle Fort live in Deep Ellum this morning with what she's been able to learn overnight.
Well, Dee and Matt, we will start with the security guard who was shot and killed here overnight. This morning, police say that the shooting happened at this nightclub here off of Elm Street in Deep Ellum. You can see the scene is clear now. Police are no longer out here this morning, but this was a very different picture just a few hours ago. Dallas police just gave us an update. They say someone has been detained in connection with this shooting. Here's what we know so far. Investigators say it happened around 12:30 this morning. After that security guard was shot, police say one of his co-workers drove him to the hospital. He later died there. And right now, we are still working to learn what led up to the shooting. Police haven't ID'd the victim or the person they have in custody, but we do know it happened as police were working another scene just blocks away on Commerce. There, 5 people were shot in a separate incident. Police say, fortunately, none of those victims had life-threatening injuries. Police haven't released any information about what led up to that shooting either. And so far, no word on any suspects or arrests, but I can tell you that this was a massive crime scene. Much of this area was closed off overnight. And now this morning, both of these incidents are still very much so still under investigation as Dallas police deal with what was a pretty violent night, Cinco de Mayo here in Deep Ellum. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Janelle, thank you. As she just mentioned, we'll keep you updated on both of these developing situations as we get more new information in.
Yeah. Take a look at your screen on the bottom right-hand corner. Temperature right now, 57 degrees outside. Pretty cool if you're stepping out the door this morning. Let's get over to meteorologist Greg Fields, who's going to talk to you about the forecast today.
Yeah, very much so there, Matt, with those temperatures. They are much, much cooler compared to what we had this time yesterday. 56 degrees taking you out to Fort Worth. And look at those winds. They're out of the north and northwest, gusting to 22 miles per hour out there for you right now. And look at that temperature change. It's 13 degrees cooler in Fort Worth, 15 degrees cooler heading out to Denton, along with Dallas here this morning. So a much cooler start. We're going to be looking at some low mid-50s as you head out the door. 51 for Gainesville and Sherman, 57 coming over to Dallas, and we'll have those upper 50s heading out to Terrell and Canton. So we're going to keep it on the cloudy to mostly cloudy side through the day. Slight chances for some showers, maybe a rumble or two of thunder as we get into the early afternoon. I do think that tapers off, though, for that drive home. We'll have those north winds fairly light all day long at 5 to 10, and we may not get out of the 60s as we come home a little bit later today. So much cooler, but some warmer weather on the way, so we'll have more on that and the Mother's Day forecast as well. But now let's get over to Erica, checking on traffic.
All right, Greg, thank you. Right now, we are still following this incident on 35E in Dallas County. It is right in the downtown Dallas area. And right now, more fire crews are showing up this morning. This is 35E. We can see it from Riverfront, but it's actually 35E and I-30 this morning, right at the ramp here. Now, this fire truck just pulled up literally in the last few seconds this morning. We did have 2 lanes open, but now we're down to only 1 lane open and moving. And you can see the scene expanding behind it, too. So this semi-truck, this vehicle are the ones that look to be involved in the wreck. From what I can tell, since I've been watching this camera, this is the backup that's beginning to form at 35E and Colorado Boulevard. So as we take a look at the map as a whole, a lot of green out here still, but this is the stretch that is beginning to slow down this morning. Aside from that, we are also following a crash, State Highway 183 westbound and Mockingbird Lane. You can see a busy scene there at the ramp as well. Matt and Dia.
All right. Thank you so much, Erica. Developing this morning, we're expecting to hear from a community mourning very soon after a shooting spree in Carrollton left 2 people dead and several others hurt.
Investigators are still working to piece together what led up to the violence. It happened in Carrollton, but Chris Sadeghi is live for us in Dallas, where leaders in the Korean community are set to address the violence in just hours.
Yes, Dia, that is why we are here at the Korean Cultural Center in Dallas. They are holding a press conference this morning in the wake of this targeted shooting. This is surveillance video that shows the 69-year-old shooting suspect, So Hung Han, running from police at the H Mart in Carrollton, where he was arrested. But 2 hours before that video, he's accused of shooting and killing 1, injuring 3 others about 5 miles away at K-Town Plaza. And in between, police say he shot and killed a second person at an apartment building. We spoke to community members who say the motivation for the violence appears to be a business relationship, and police also said the suspect and victims were originally meeting for business purposes. Other business owners told us the dispute was over rent, with the landlord threatening to lock the suspect out of his own business.
I heard that he didn't pay the rent for 3 months, and owner and owner's assistants or friends, they went in there, and then the owner of Gambu was mad.
And police say that Han did confess to the shooting and said that he was angry over a financial disagreement. We hope to learn more about those that were killed and injured when the press conference happens this morning at 10 o'clock. Matt, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. After weeks of emotional testimony, Tanner Horner has received the death penalty for murdering Athena Strand. And this morning, we've learned that Horner is already in Huntsville, according to one of Athena's family members. Jurors reached the decision in less than 3 hours of deliberations. Family members of the 7-year-old and jury members wiped away tears as the sentence was handed down. Athena's uncle spoke for the whole family after that.
He took a little girl who trusted the world and repaid that innocence with violence. He chose to cause pain.
Prosecutors called this a brutal and deliberate crime deserving of the death penalty, while the defense argued that Horner's mental health struggles and traumatic upbringing should have spared his life. In the next half hour, senior investigative reporter Tanya Icewer joins us to wrap up weeks of expert coverage on the case.
Now let's get you 3 things that you need to know this morning. Less than a week after his controversial firing, a judge has reinstated a longtime transportation chief. For 35 years, Michael Morris oversaw billions of dollars in transportation projects for the North Texas Council of Governments. He was ousted last week, though. A lawsuit filed by Denton County and the Regional Transportation Council tried to stop it. Morris is back on the job, but it's unclear if he'll be at this morning's board meeting. FBI Director Kash Patel is slamming how the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping case was handled. He was on a podcast when Patel said the FBI was kept out of the investigation for 4 days and that local law enforcement mishandled DNA by sending it to a private lab instead of the FBI's lab. Patel says once his agency was involved, they were able to immediately produce images of the suspect. Guthrie has been missing since January 31st. And the Dallas Wings could be playing on a bigger stage next season, or should I say, a bigger court. During a national media call, head coach Jose Fernandez appeared to reveal the team will move its home games to the American Airlines Center. The Wings tell WFAA they are having some advanced discussions with the arena, but there's no contract. The team currently plays at UT Arlington's College Park Center. 6:07 this Wednesday morning, and they set out for a vacation, but now hundreds of people are quarantined at sea.
At 6:30, ABC's Victor Oquendo joins us live with the latest from officials on the deadly outbreak on board.
A fresh start for the Dallas Mavericks front office and a clear message from their new president. You'll hear from him at 6:40.
And some people try to win over their future in-laws with dinner, maybe an outing. One man has a very different approach. Stick around to see ahead when we go in the feed.
We are looking ahead to Mother's Day weekend. You want to pay attention because we do have a little rain in the forecast along with a warm up.
And speaking of a little rain, we'll still see maybe some around today, but much cooler temperatures to talk about at least briefly for the next couple of days. We'll have more when Daybreak continues. As we go to break, though, that's a look from our Fort Worth Tower Cam. Good morning. More when Daybreak comes back.